Okay, so if anybody comes in, I'm recording. This is the mid-unit 2 test. I'm just going to go through the question, explain what it wants you to do, and that's it. If I feel like it's going to be too difficult for you, or like that you might maybe need like an extra like step, then I'll give it to you, okay? And then I'll just email the video afterwards. All right, so here it is. You have 3 attempts. All right, so evaluate the function f of x given the following table. Find f of 3. Okay, they didn't give us a table, but that's okay. All right, all we have to do is evaluate the function. So anytime you have a number inside the parentheses, that is what x is equal to. So x equals 3. They want me to figure out, well, what is the y value when x is 3? So I take the rule, okay, and I put in the 3 for the x. So negative parentheses 3. Why is the negative on the outside? Because that minus sign is outside of the x. Plus 7. All you have to do is do that and tell me what the answer is, okay? You notice all of them said f of 3 because we want you to make sure that you understand that that is telling you the y value at x equals 3. Okay, do the math and figure out what that is. All right, graph this function. Is the graph a function or not a function? Explain why. All right, we have a graph. We talked about it. What are the ways that you can determine if this is going to be a function or not? You draw the vertical line test. If it touches 2 times, then it's not a function. So you're going to tell them, use vertical line test. And then I have to let you finish that sentence off. Okay? Use the vertical line test. You drew the vertical line. It crosses the graph blank times. It is blank, either a function or not a function. Okay, so I guess let me erase that. Draw a vertical line. If it crosses or touches, whatever you want to say, blank, then it is blank. Okay. So the vertical line test, if it touches the graph, the picture, 2 times, then it's not a function. If it touches it 1 time, then it is a function. Okay. You have to fill in the blank right there. Okay. So again, just to let you guys know, I'm recording. If you have a question, just speak up so I can hear you because I can't see the chat box. I can't see who's in here. And then when I finish this video, I'm gonna stop the recording and then wait for it to send it to me, and then I'll send it out to everybody. I think the questions are in a different order for me and for you, so it's just going through them. All right, Joseph takes his little brother to the local frozen yogurt shop. I don't know why I stopped on that. The shop charges $1 for the cup plus 35 cents per ounce. Joseph doesn't want his little brother to spoil his dinner, so he tells him that he has to get less than 3 ounces. If X represents the ounces and Y represents the cost, what is the range? Okay. Less than 3. Okay. It told me the X represents the ounces and the Y represents the cost. They want the range. Remember, range stands for Y. Okay. That means I can eliminate these 2 answer choices. All right. Less than 3 means that he cannot get to 3 ounces. Right? So that means I'm using the less than symbol. If I'm going to use the less than symbol for the X, I'm going to most likely use it for that, because that means he's going to have to pay less than that amount, because he's not going to pay for 3 ounces. Right? All right. Remember, this is my X. This is not my Y, the 3 ounces. To figure out what the Y value will be for 3 ounces, it'd be 1. Yes, ma'am. Huh? Because you peed on the bed and we had to clean the bed and we didn't have time. We got here late. I was late to this like 2 minutes. Okay, so eat what you were able to get from the front office, okay? All right, and per ounce, that's where my X would be, but this is gonna be 3. So you evaluate that and then figure out what answer choice is going to give me that. I already kind of gave you clues on which one it should be, but I can't right out say it what the answer is, but this is the other option. Like you already know because it says less than what symbol you should use. This is right here is going to tell you the cost at 3 ounces. Remember, he can't get to that because his little brother's going to get less than 3 ounces. Okay. Now, all you got to do is type that into the calculator and figure out what you get. Okay. If you have any questions, please let me know. All right. All right. Let me clear this off. Remember, I'm recording, so I'll be able to send this out to you guys. All right, which of the following would not be a function if the point -2, 5? Okay. Not a function. So I have to remember what the word function means. Okay, the word function is x's don't repeat. But if I want not a function, then that means x's repeat. Okay, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for which table or which set of ordered pairs is the x going to repeat if I plug in that ordered pair. So, I mean, let's see if I can say it in a different way. So, which one of those answer choices is going to have another -2? Because remember, x's repeat when it's not a function, and that's what they're looking for. So you have to look through the ordered pairs or the table and figure out, hey, where is there a -2 for the x? Because if there's another -2 on that table, then that means the x's are going to repeat if I plug in that square, that -2, 5. Don't look at the y's, look at the x's. That's what's important. You need to look for which one of those answer choices. If I put in that -2, 5, hey, no ma'am, no ma'am, no ma'am. You can't write on the board. I'm trying to explain, okay? All right, which one of those?
Why did you not give us something to drink?
Oh, yes, I did. They're in your bag, in the Elsa bag. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so you put that point in there. So you're trying, again, you're looking only at the x value. Remember, the x value on the table is labeled, but in the ordered pairs, it's always the first number in each parentheses. So look at the first number in the parentheses, look at the x column or the x row, and figure out where do you see another -2. Because to not be a function, they have to have the x's repeat. So which one of those is going to have the same x as this one? Okay? Oh, this thing, I never know how to get rid of it. All right, so we press clear, close, go to the next one. All right, so match each relationship that represents a graph that would be discrete or continuous. Okay. Discrete means points, whole numbers. Okay, this one is connected.
Can I play with your phone?
Yes, if that's gonna make you stop talking right now. All right, connected line, any number. Okay. So for discrete, I can only use certain numbers. Sometimes they're only whole numbers and no negatives, no fractions. And continuous is a connected line. That means I can use any number I want. So we have to read through the questions and figure out, hey, which one of those would be discrete or continuous? The amount of Skittles in the bag. The height of a tree as it grows. The number of students in the classroom and the distance traveled over a period of time.
Are you going to eat this?
Yeah, I was hoping. Didn't you already eat half of it? And put it back on the desk. All right. So which one of those answer choice, those columns on the left, can you only have use whole numbers for? So when you do a bag of Skittles, are you only going to have whole Skittles? When you do the height of a tree,
Mommy,
can you measure the tree?
This is not what I want. This is someone else's, Is that you?
Is your sister. I don't know why my internet's not working up here. Okay, so we're gonna take the internet off up here. Right here. Don't turn it up loud, please. Turn it down low. Go, because I'm like halfway through this test with the kids. Okay? Alright. So the amount of Skittles in the bag. Are there only whole numbers of Skittles in the bag? The height of a tree as it grows. So the height is your y. So as it grows is going to be your time. So can you figure out at a decimal, or can you only figure out at whole numbers how much that tree is going to be, how tall that tree is going to be? The number of students in your classroom, can they only be whole numbers or can they be fractions? That's what you have to keep asking yourself for each one. Can they only be whole numbers or can they be fractions? Okay. The distance traveled over a period of time. Can that be whole numbers or just decimals? Can I figure out at a half of an hour or at 10 minutes how much distance you've traveled? That's the kind of thing you need to know, right? If I can only use whole numbers to figure that out, so here is the amount of Skittles. That's going to tell you can I only use whole numbers for Skittles? Students, can I use only whole numbers for students? This one's time. Now this one, the second one that says height of a tree, it doesn't tell you what your x is, but it says as it grows, and it grows over time. So you're thinking about time. Can time be whole numbers and fractions and decimals, or can it only be whole numbers? So what I underline is what you need to think about. Can that part that I underlined, can it be whole numbers? Only whole numbers, then you would get discrete. If it could be whole numbers and fractions or decimals, then you would pick continuous, okay? I hope I explained that to well enough for you to understand. If you have any questions, you can say something now, or you can just email me or text me on Remind, whichever you need. All right. It costs initially $25 to rent a tent and $10 each night you plan to stay there, right? A linear function that represents a scenario, right? Well, on the video that I did this was for I believe Tuesday, I said the most important thing to do is look for the word each, every, or per, because that's going to be your rate. So I read the problem and I already have the word each. So that's the one that's going to be next to the variable. I have to figure out, do I have more than one rate? If I have two rates, then the x and the y will each have a number in front of them. And I only have one. So if I only have one, that automatically goes to the x. Right? So I'm going to have y equals, which all of my answer choices have. Right? Now, if you look at it closely, you already got the problem. You don't even have to do the rest of it, because there's only one answer choice that has 10x in it. That's it. This one, it wants to evaluate when value of x when f of x is equal to 8. All right. So what do you do for this problem is it's f of x equals 8 means y equals 8. So you go to the y-axis, you figure out what 8 is, and you draw to where you connect with the graph. Okay, then you just go down.
Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please put this straw in?
You act like you can't ask your big sister.
I can't put it in.
But you could ask your big sister.
No, I can't.
Okay. Let's figure that out. All right, number 8. Determine the linear function of the table, following table. All right, so you need to find the rate. Okay, so we did that. You find the patterns, okay? The pattern is going on here. And remember, because it already told you it's linear, you only got to find the pattern once. Now, if you don't like working with negatives, then that means that you go over here and you do these two. It's increasing by 2. So I have plus 2 for my x. For my y, it's going down because it's getting smaller. It's going down by 10. All right, and that's my y. Okay, but your rate is always y over x. Negative 10 over 2. You divide that out, and that's going to give you the rate. The rate that you get is going to be the one that's next to the x. So you would get that. Then all you have to do is go back and look at your y-intercept. What is the y value for when x is equal to 0? That's what's going to go in this part. And if it's a positive number, then you put plus in between the circle and the X. If it's a negative number, then you put a minus sign. Okay? Or let's just say you always put plus, and if it's a negative, then these two turn out to be negatives, okay? Turns out to be a minus, but. Alright, you have this one. Input is your Y value and output is your X. So I don't know if a lot of your teachers showed you kind of the function machine last year. I'm not sure if they did or not. But here's the function machine. Okay. This is the rule, the function rule. And this is the X. So X is going inside. The answer that comes out would be f of X, which is the same thing as Y. So input means what is going into the function machine or going into the function row, and the output is what's coming out of the function row, like what my result is. So hopefully this picture already kind of helps you figure out if that's going to be true or false. All right, which value is not in the domain? Okay. You're looking for the X values of those open circles, okay? Right, because open circles means the values are not in something. Closed circles means they are. For this example, we're talking about domain, so that's why I'm putting it in there. But I'm putting the word or so that you know that that represents any inequality. The domain, because that's what we're talking about right now, but open and closed represents any set, any inequality, any range, anything that has a set of numbers. If I have an open circle, then that number is not going to be part of it. So all you do is you go to the circles and you figure out what are the X values at those circles. Okay? And then figure out what answer choice is there. All right, so that's it. That was 10 questions. I'm going to close this, see if anybody's on. If anybody's on, ask me any question that you may have. Okay, it's up to you. Right now I'm going to stop it so I can save it and put it into YouTube and then send it out to all of you. How do you stop it? I didn't want to stop presenting. I wanted to stop recording. There you go.